Well, it was 40 years ago today. A young man lies sick, twisting, writhing in bed, writhing in agony, just beside himself, mentally out of his mind, poisoned by some kind of food-borne illness. And in that moment, he had a vision, he had a dream, he had a nightmare. And that nightmare was a metal endoskeleton crawling elbow over elbow through a kitchen with a knife in its hand. And in that moment, he realized that that robot, that terrifying thing, could be something that maybe he wants to share with the entire world. And here we are 40 years later, thinking about it, talking about it, reading it, loving it, showing it to our kids. And I'm telling you guys, JC, the man, the myth, the prophet, not that one, the other one, James Cameron, when he gave us Terminator, he was on some future. Okay, so what he did was look into the future and give us a stark warning, give it to the world. Only he did it really, really, really cool. Because like what James Cameron did was look around and realize that Babysitter Murders movie just made a lot of money, and old John's over there raking that in. And he thought, well, that's just like that dream I had in Italy when I had food poisoning and I was at the edge of death, and I had that image of that endoskeleton crawling elbow over elbow with a kitchen knife in its hand. And so he said, what if I add just a little bit of sci-fi to that? What if I add just a little bit of time travel and robot? And the world was like, yeah, num, 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 num. We're going to eat that up. Only some people took the wrong advices. Now, if you remember the Arnold Schwarzenegger interview from Pumping Iron, he says, the interviewer says, don't you feel bad about, helping your competition out there, like giving them, tips to help them win in weightlifting competitions with you? And he said, no, I don't worry about it. I give them all the wrong advices. And he laughs. And I think that the lesson here is that the world saw the Terminator and we said, that's so cool. Let's invent that. And that's all the wrong advices. Like that wasn't the whole point. The whole point wasn't like rush to invent it, because 6 months ago, I watched JC give an interview to the Robot and Artificial Intelligence Symposium, and he said, luckily, the AI hasn't completely taken over the kill chain operation and left humans out of the process, or not had a human at the trigger. We have not yet empowered AI to make that decision. 6 months ago, he was right about that. That would have been true 6 months ago. But now, if you look at the stuff coming out of Ukraine, the Russian jamming mechanisms are becoming so incredibly powerful that any drone within, X miles of the radar jamming is completely useless. So these drones have learned to switch millions of times per minute, switch frequencies so that the Russians can't jam them, but then eventually they lose contact with the human operator back home. And what happens is these drones are able to take topographic maps of the area, and they're able to take pre-programmed data about possible targets, and they're able to, in real time, make the decision as to what targets they hit. So they're going to hit their targets, and they're going to take humans out of the process of the kill chain. And they're going to make the determination about human life, living or dying on this planet, solely based on the idea that the AI has parameters and can decide within those parameters. Well, I feel like he tried to make a franchise to warn us about this. And I understand where the Terminator franchise is at. And I'm as frustrated as you guys are. The comic books, the video games, the growing up with all the supporting material and all the movies, it's been a remarkable part of all of our childhoods. And the first movie was just a slasher. That was a slasher movie. The first person who told me this blew my mind, but then I realized they've been writing about this for 20 years and I just hadn't read it yet. The idea of an unstoppable killer is the Michael Myers character. The guy in the trench coat is Loomis, and he runs around telling everybody you don't understand, he can't be reasoned with, he can't be stopped. The final girl, the girl in the sorority is Sarah Connor, because everyone else in the sorority has her name, and she's the final girl. It's a slasher movie. It's a horror film. Getting back to the roots, it's a horror film. But the film did so well, and James Cameron was on an upswing, and he was crushing it. And so they said, hey, give us bigger, give us better, give us more. And so he went out there and he gave us T2, bigger, better, and more. And what he did was he unintentionally kicked off the race to make everything bigger and better and more, whether it deserves it or not. Now, bigger and better and more is very, very, very hard. And he's dedicated the last, 15 years of his life to showing the world what bigger, better, more looks like. Because when you build something inside the Pandora sandbox, you're able to create a fully visceral, frame-to-frame, corner-to-corner, IMAX-sized, theatrical immersive experience for people that does in fact meet bigger, better, more. He might be the best in the business at doing that. There's an argument that be made that the Russos do that. There's an argument made that Michael Bay does that, but I think James Cameron is hands down the best in the business at creating that experience. And what I've seen him do is realize that Terminator doesn't lend itself to that size and scale of storytelling. Like, yes, T2 was bigger and better, and it was amazing, and it's an incredible film, and it's a benchmark in the industry, and it changed a lot of people's creative direction in their lives. But what you have now is a franchise that is not able to go bigger and better. You cannot put two televisions on side by side and play, a James Cameron, Avatar movie and a modern Terminator movie side by side and hope to capture the same level of attention. It just doesn't. It's not the kind of IP that fits into that category anymore. So what I recommend, what I love to do, and what I've been doing for the last couple of years, is writing Terminator movies. I love Terminator movies. Like I currently have a Terminator movie that has an Academy Award winning actress reading the role that I created for her. I've had packages and directors and, producers and people circling, and I love them. I love them. Now, do I call them Terminator? No, because, Jim, I owe you a check. But that stuff is so awesome. That stuff is so fantastic. When I see it in any other form, when I see anyone else doing their spin, and this fan fiction thing, like, you guys got to chill on the fan fiction. Every single person who didn't create the franchise is a fan, and every time they write something, it's fiction. And so everyone, I don't care if it's JJ's Star Wars or Ryan's Star Wars or Tony's Star Wars, it's all fan fiction. You're a fan, that's your fiction. That's all there. Like, get out of here with that stuff. Like, if you're not George and Jim and Steven, your Jurassic Park isn't the Jurassic Park. It's fan fiction. So, like, chill with that. It's not the insult that you guys think it is. So bottom line is we're gonna reboot the Terminator, and we're gonna do it in 30 days. We're gonna give a 30-day screenplay challenge right here, right now, today. And we're gonna go back to our roots, and we're gonna go back to the small, smart, taut, tight little thriller that Terminator was. We're going to take this back. We're going to make horror horny again. We're going to make something, evocative and provocative, and we're going to make something that really plays with the big idea. Did you guys see Ex Machina? Did anyone see Ex Machina? Like, that is a Terminator movie. That is the creation of the T-800 or the T-100, whatever you want to call it, in a setting that was a remote setting. And it was like, it was playing with the Ridley Scott, you want to know about my mother, Turing test idea inside the Terminator franchise. Like, yes, they're all making them and they're all hot. Lee Wanell made a movie called Upgrade. If you guys haven't seen it, it is absolutely sensational. This movie is a masterclass in the sort of realization that when artificial intelligence meets human limitation and the two of them come together, like, it is not a metal cyborg hunting. Go see Upgrade. Upgrade is amazing. By the way, Jim, lives in Australia and you're in New Zealand. Fly him over and put a shrimp on the barbie. Like, come on. Like, that dude needs to be doing this. I'm talking about small, smart, contained, A24. I'm talking about Blumhouse-sized Terminator movies. Like figure out how to bring it back to its roots, put it in genre, make it small, make it smart, make it thoughtful, make it engage with ideas. The business model of it is so sound that should it fail miserably, it can stream anywhere and make multiples of its budget. Or should it be, I don't know, maybe successful, there's a theatrical release in which you grab an opening weekend away from some other movie that isn't working, and suddenly you're on your way to $250 million worldwide on this tiny little gamble. So, bottom line, we're doing this. This is happening. It's going to happen to you, with you, or without you. Like, comment, share. Tell me I'm crazy. I want feedback. I want conversation. I want to have this happen with the audience. 30 days from now, there will be a screenplay. Now, that screenplay will not be the thing we send to Jim Cameron. It will be a draft. It will be a vomit draft. It will be a working draft. But like, I don't think it gets any better if you take 6 months or 9 months or a year to do it. I've probably seen 1,000 writers come through my door when I was a lit manager, and I've seen people take 6 months to do those drafts, and they're just not any better than vomit drafts. They're still vomit drafts. You just spend more time spinning your wheels and talking yourself into things and falling in love with stuff that has to go later. It's more difficult to kill your darlings later when you spend so much time investing in the validity of them. Like, get it down, get it done, get it on paper, start working it and shaping it and molding it into what it's going to be. So 30 days from now, we'll be ready to pitch. We'll have a full finished draft that we'll be able to look at and realize what works and what doesn't in the pitch, but it won't be the finished product. And, you know, I should make this perfectly clear. I'm not authorized to do this. I am not being requested to do this. I'm not being offered this opportunity. This is completely, totally illegal, and I fully expect a cease and desist letter. But the bottom line is, people are going to make these, and they're going to do these, and why not do these inside the franchise of the Terminator and make a bunch of them? Just line them up. Just do one after the next, and let everybody come in. Let all the fans come in and write their fiction. Let the filmmakers who grew up on this stuff talk about, this is the Terminator movie I always want to see. Let it go back to being rated R. Let it be violent. Let it be gruesome. Let it push buttons and push boundaries. Let it say something about the world we live in and not be so rounded off by a bunch of, no offense, executives who are worried more about the bottom line. Like, Burke is in charge of the Terminator. Burke should not be in charge of the Terminator. Burke should be in charge of, like, fiscal reports or something. He shouldn't be the one deciding what kind of Terminator we get to make. Like, Weyland-Yutani has a great role for Burke. He's, obviously a two-tie wearing pencil pusher. He got Ridley to go on that second mission, right? So come on, but no, he's not supposed to be in charge of it. So let's do it. Let's see what it is. Let's see if it's anything anyone wants to see, and let's have fun along the way, guys. It's the Terminator!